What is up? What is up? Welcome back to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, joined today by AP and Tyler. AP, I was telling you before we started, we had the Raiders game last night, a little bit of partying going on. I did do some prep during the day, but not as much as usual. So I'm glad to have you on. How are your feelings about the National Basketball Association as it's currently consisted of right now?
No, I like it. Yesterday was fun day of NFL. Then we had Klay Thompson back after like
Yeah.
950 days or something. That was cool to see him come out firing. Warriors, they're going to be a problem out there in the West. I mean, with those guys that they have playing like they are, if everyone stays healthy, man, like they are have to be a favorite. I would love to see a Warriors Nets matchup, just a little bit different than last year. I mean, Warriors Bucks I think would be pretty good too. But we'll see. I'm excited with where the NBA is at right now.
Yeah, interesting. Warriors Nets would be fun. They're gonna have to do something though. They haven't been able to get it done against the very best teams. Maybe that's Kyrie Irving. Tyler, we made the mistake of fading Clay's comeback. Right? We thought that the points with the Cavaliers was too much, but those Warriors look good. What were your thoughts on that game and any other takeaways from the association over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the APA hit it on the head. They're going to be a problem in the West. I mean, if any time's now the time to get on them to win some futures here, maybe win the Western Conference and even win the finals. But the thing that took me away from this weekend was last night. Did you see John Morant's block? He almost jumped over.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was crazy.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the weekend right there.
All right. And Richie Small says, got to get Spread and Tyler some intro music. I have it all set up. I just got to get another guy to narrate it. And of course, I'll have you guys approve it before we do that. But yeah, that is in the work, Richie. So there we go. That is how much fun we're having. And like I said, so I did cap a bunch of these games, especially the ones I had numbers for. So last night, because, the Cavaliers hadn't played, and I don't know why the Trailblazers line wasn't up, but those are only two that didn't have lines up last night. But I actually capped this game, and I feel, I don't know, as good as you can feel about the situation. The Utah Jazz, minus 11.5. They're in Detroit, taking on the Pistons. Pistons catching 11.5 alone at home. Total of 224. So we got to take a quick look at Basketball Monster like we always do when we're handicapping these games. And there's going to be some things that, of course, are going to stick out from this one, and that is, where is it? Here we go. Rudy Gay, Joe Ingles, Jared Butler, Rudy Gobert, all out there. So those big names, of course, Ingles and Gobert. And I think that one part of this handicap that we have to look into is how much Gobert does for the rest of those guys on defense. And to me, this Jazz team looks tired. I actually had them on Saturday against the Pacers. I felt pretty bad about that pick as I watched these guys. They just look worn out. Now the road trip continues. They're in Detroit. They're probably looking past this game. They probably get the win, but do they get the cover? So I like Detroit at home. I like to fade them on the road. I think we get a good effort from the Pistons tonight. I'm going to take the points. What are your thoughts, AP?
Yeah, I think that's a good note. Donovan Mitchell just carrying these guys right now. Like, I like this game a little bit more DFS wise, just looking at Donovan Mitchell. I think with how many good plays we have on this 7-game slate tonight, Donovan Mitchell could be lower owned because, like, with the Jazz right now, they have depth at guard. They're lacking depth at front court, but like what I've seen is just that a lot of that usage is going to Donovan Mitchell. 27 shots last game against the Pacers. I love the matchup. I think it's just a phenomenal spot. Whiteside, he's like in the DFS streets. He's been chalked the last few slates, and he's been a bust. He's had much stronger performances coming off the bench. I will say this is a matchup though he should be able to hang around in. I know against Toronto, foul trouble, and then against Indy, just tougher matchup this year. Biggs going against Indy. Against Isaiah Stewart and these guys, I mean, I could see Whiteside racking up a bunch of blocks, get some steals, get some putbacks. Should be a good spot for them. And so I like what you have to say about Detroit. And honestly, I wasn't even going to put Cade Cunningham in my pool tonight just with how bad he's been. But we always got to remember, like, these players have upside, and everyone else is seeing how bad he is. Cade Cunningham is the type of player that if Utah is tired and if they struggle here and if the Pistons cover and maybe steal a win or something, it would have to be on the heels of a big game from him. So I might find a way to add him back to my pool tonight. Not going to go heavy. I just don't think anyone's going to play him. So I like that call. Maybe Pistons side. I'm fine fading this game too.
PA Young wants to know if you have any thoughts on Bogey for DFS. I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's
Bogdanovich.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, his with Ingles and Gay out, he's going to have to play 38 plus minutes. And the guy's a shooter, or he's getting more rebounds now. The other thing, too, is like if Whiteside gets in foul trouble or if he just sucks again, like all of these guys are going to have to like crash the board. So Royce O'Neal, Bogdanovich, I mean, all of these guys definitely become more in play.
I mean, I think there's a reason that Whiteside's kind of bounced around as a backup. I think he can give you 10 or 15 minutes of good defense, but asking that guy to focus and really protect the rim for more than 30 minutes, it gets rough, man. He was on Sacramento for a little while, and for every cool block that he makes that you would see like on Sports Center, like there's 3 that he doesn't rotate or he's out of position, and it's just I think that the drop off from Gobert statistically might not seem like a lot, but it really is. But I don't know, Tyler. It's tough. I'm taking the worst team in the league if I make this bet. What are your thoughts on Detroit plus 11.5?
Yeah, I mean, I still say Rudy is the best player on the Jazz team. He means the most over a Mitchell because of how much he does on defense. Now they're missing a couple other guys. They're missing a couple wings too. It's going to be tough. I think Cade Cunningham's going to have a big game. I know I've tried to pick this spot a couple times already. But, I mean, Whiteside gets in foul trouble. He has stunk the last couple games in this spot. Like, he might just eat at the rim. I think it's even maybe sprinkle the plus 500 spread over the plus 11. I think they're going to steal this game.
I mean, this Utah team looked tired against Indiana, right?
Yeah, and if there's ever a spot they're going to overlook and just give a game up, it's going to be this one.
Yeah, and the Pistons have been able to do well when people are overlooking them, right? They did get the wins at home over, I believe it was San Antonio and then Milwaukee last week. So, all right, well, I like the points here, and you're not talking me away from it. So, I don't know if I'll take that plus 621 money line that you're talking about.
Oh, you got plus 621. I see plus 500.
Oh, yeah.
You got a way better number than me.
All right, maybe I'll throw a little bit on it.
I'm going to throw some on it. I'm gonna send the Hoop a text and tell him we're backing his team tonight.
All right, yeah, and we backed the Pistons when Hoop was on the other day, and they did not do good for us. Which game was that? Oh, it was bad. It was bad. And you know what's funny is I didn't even think they played that bad. Oh, it's against Charlotte. It was against Charlotte. It was almost the same situation, but it was in Charlotte. And then I remembered I said, okay, I'm not taking the Pistons on the road again. What were you saying, Tyler? I'm sorry.
I said they're getting us a W tonight. I said they might have gave us a dud before, but they're getting us a W here.
All right, I love it. Daniel House Jr. They're asking in the chat about him. Do you like him at 3K for some value there? AP?
I mean, they have I'm gonna have him in my pool just because they don't have like a ton of dudes. We know he can come off the bench and hit some threes. It allows you to spend up and get these studs. But I do think on the slate, we'll get to the game later. But I think like Rondo could be a potential free square at 3-3. There's a few other really good value spots. So it seems a little thin, but if you're playing a lot of entries, I could get behind it.
All right. Yeah. Way to get different there probably too with your value. Milwaukee Bucks are -2. They'll be in Charlotte. They're running it back from Saturday night. Tyler, Saturday was I've been doing pretty good, but Saturday was not a good day for me. I missed this one too. And you know what? It's funny. The Hornets were my darling team last year. And then I felt like, now the value's gone. And I think I've gone a little too far and I'm fading them too much. But I have to say I'm going right back to the well with Milwaukee. I'm going to go off my original handicap. They were tired coming off a big win, right? That was it's pretty rookie move by me there to overlook that letdown spot coming up with a win in Brooklyn. But now, they're coming off the loss, and they've also had the day off. It's not on the back-to-back. So I do believe Milwaukee gets back on track tonight against Charlotte, and I know that AP is going to be talking about Giannis and DFS because he had 43 and 12 in that last one, and I don't see any reason why he's not going to dominate again. I'm taking Milwaukee. What are your thoughts on this game, AP, and, of course, some DFS options?
Yeah, this is going to be just another gym. I mean, the Hornets won the first round. I don't see them winning 2 in a row, but they are playing at home, which is, this Hornets team has been good at home. Man, like, how do you just not jam in? I would say, honestly, Giannis and Bobby Portis, because now we get point Giannis. He's not necessarily taken away from Portis. We know what bigs do to the Hornets. They're just not a good rebounding team. Lots of putbacks, lots of block opportunities too with kind of how these guys play. And so, yeah, sign me up for Giannis, sign me up for Portis. I think you could throw Middleton in there too. Just seems like I honestly see like the overs potentially hitting here too if the Bucks play with pace and hit shots. So if that happens, all of these guys are going to smash. And like in the NBA, you don't need to force run backs, but in this scenario, if you're playing multiple entries, I like a few guys here. Like LaMelo Ball was in constant foul trouble two days ago on the 8th. I mean, man, he, in 26 minutes, he racked up 5 fouls, but he also racked up 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. So if we can get like 33 plus out of Ball, I mean, he's going to put up a really nice number. He's been foul prone though. So like if he's in foul trouble, Terry Rozier, he's really picked up the slack. Miles Bridges is the other guy I'm looking at. And then if you want to get a little off the wall with a run back, Kelly Oubre or PJ Washington. Oubre's been their trusted 6-man, but we've seen PJ Washington too rotate in and get some decent minutes. So really good game. You want exposure to this one in DFS for sure.
Highest total on the board, 236.5. Great point about Oubre. He had 18 in the game against Milwaukee on Saturday, and he was 2 of 11 from 3, right? Imagine if he goes 5 for 11, right? Or even gets hot from behind the arc, how much different that was. Terry Rozier went 6 from 10 from behind the arc in that game, and I felt like he was the difference. He finished with 28, was the team's leading scorer. But I think the Bucks get revenge tonight, Tyler. Talk to me about my Bucks pick, and then Eric Chang wants to know about LaMelo over 31.5 points, rebounds, assists. Please talk about that as well, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I like both plays. I think the Bucks do win the game. I think they bounce back off the loss, just like you said. Mm-hmm. And then with the LaMelo Ball prop, I love those because AP touched on it. He only played 26 minutes in the last one, and he racked up a bunch of stats: 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 19 points. He gets above 33 minutes. I mean, the guy might put up a triple-double. So I see his assists are 7.5 at plus money. I love that. And then he talked on Middleton too. He's been putting up a ton of points with Holiday out. His points prop is 21.5. I like that.
He went for 27 on Saturday.
Yeah, so I like that over also at 21. And then on FanDuel, you could do the player performance doubles. We could do Giannis double-double and Milwaukee wins at plus 120. I don't hate that at all. He put up, 43 and 12? Oh, we lost AP.
Yeah, he'll be back, though, I hope. We'll get him back in there. Let's go to the chat real quick. Yeah, AP's right back here, so we'll get him back in here right now. Hold on. Well, now my computer doesn't want to do it. All right, there we go.
So this is connection issues.
No, it's all good. This is interesting here. So this is the Giraffe Sports and History podcast. I mean, is it sports history, or is it like you talk about like the Bucks one thing and then like World War II the next? I think I might have to check out this pod. But he says, do you think the Knicks will have under 109 points? We'll get to that. But the one reason I brought it up right now, Giannis, do you think he'll have over 32 tonight? I mean, that's higher than his point total usually is.
That's a high total. He has been putting up a ton of points, though. And if there's ever a spot where he's just going to dominate again, it's right here.
Yeah.
My only worry is, though, is they blow him out and he gets pulled late in the game.
All right. AP, this is one's for you more because I think it has more DFS. I don't know how much it affects the spread that much. I don't think it can hurt the Bucks side, but I actually don't upgrade them at all for it. First game back. But Dante DiVincenzo finally back. He's a player I really like, especially as a role player They are missing guards tonight. How do you think that affects like the Bucks usage? And am I wrong? Should I be upgrading them because he's back?
I mean, I don't think he's probably in play like DFS wise. I mean, he's got to be capped at what, like 18 minutes? We haven't seen the guy in a while. So
does he hurt other players being back though?
I mean, not really. Like, Wesley Matthews doesn't do anything. He just kind of, hits a few threes every now and then, plays good defense. So, if anything, rotational wise, I don't see it really affecting too much. Maybe just Matthews, but no, it's not going to take me off any of these other guys.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, PA Young. We kind of have a bland answer there, but I guess the answer would be really not too much effect. I don't think it really affects the spread or the daily fantasy implications that much as well. Eric Chang, he's usually with us, Tyler, but he says he can't bet Middleton. He's my Tobias Harris. And we could probably spend a full podcast on that, so we won't do that. Let's talk about the Spurs, who are getting +6 in New York. The Knicks laying points at home with a total 212.5. Two teams coming off a loss. So the Spurs played yesterday. It was 121-119 in Brooklyn. They lost. It was overtime. And talk about tired teams, right? Utah was a tired team we mentioned earlier. I put the Spurs in the same category, right? They've been up and down the East Coast all last week. Now they face the New York team who, they looked pretty cool getting that comeback, even though it was against our pick, Tyler. It was nice that they got that win. Oh, you were against me that day, weren't you? You were against me. It was just me and Travis, me and JSU on the Celtics there. Then they turn around and they lose by 24, and they only put up 75 points in Boston. Now they head back home. Both teams off a loss. This Spurs team, man, they just seem tired. I think it's 3 games and 4 nights for them. And we talked about rosters not being full. Let me pull this up again. They're missing Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Derek White, Doug McDermott. So not even though our guy DeJounte Murray's back, not a lot of ways of reinforcements there. Trey Jones, Thaddeus Young is out as well. Jock Landale, who sounds like some guy from Riverdale, he's going to be playing the game tonight. Tyler, I like your Knicks here tonight, man. This is really just a fate of the Spurs, how tired they are and how beat up they are. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's a spot. I don't see FanDuel having any of those player performance doubles posted yet. I'd like to get on like a Randall double when the Knicks win. Probably get you like +120.
Okay.
But I mean, -6, I don't mind it. The under I like here, though, because I just like you said, the Spurs are tired. I think the Knicks, we talked about it, they've been trying to play better defense like last year. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a spot where they can lock down on defense. This could be a low-scoring game. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that worries me is that Jock Landale, you said, he's also questionable tonight. Mm-hmm. And you see some guys on the Knicks side that are questionable too. Kemba Walker, Fournier, and Nerlens Noel. So those guys don't play. That makes me love the under even more.
Yeah, Fournier equals overs, right? The guy can score and he plays terrible defense.
And it seems like he's got the hot hand right now after that big game in Boston.
Yeah. AP, I like the Knicks and I'm fading the Spurs, but we know, like in DFS, this can mean completely different things because one of the reasons I'm fading them, tired team with a lot of people out, you can look at it the other way. The guys that do play are probably going to get a lot of minutes. How are you approaching this game from a spread and total? And then, of course, break down the DFS implications.
Yeah, I mean, these Knicks game, I mean, they just play slower. And, like, I like the pace that the Spurs play at, especially with DeJounte Murray in there. But, man, it's just tough against these Knicks. So I am staying away from the side, too. Like, I mean, when DeJounte's in there, he's having such a good year. He could with how bad kind of the Knicks have been. He could keep this one close, like by himself, if he's playing good. And so I like him as a tournament option in DFS. Like I feel like these guys like Murray, Donovan Mitchell, like these guards in that price range are going to go a bit overlooked tonight, just with some of the Darius Garland you could add to that list, just with some of the elite. Giannis, Joel Embiid, 2 spins that you're really going to want in your lineups. So it's going to leave these guards a little under-owned, and I like them in tournaments. But I usually try to stay away from teams playing the Knicks, just slow pace. But the value here is going to be hard to fade. Josh Primo, 3.6. I mean, man, he was took a ton of shots last game. Lonnie Walker, Keita Bates-Diop, all those guys are in play. Bryn Forbes, if you want to go there. I mean, man, I don't think I can. I think I'd rather play those other guys, but double-digit field goal attempts the last 2 games, you're going to need him to hit shots, though, because he's not like a peripheral stats guy. And then on the Knicks side, keep an eye because they could get Kimba back tonight, which I think would help their offense for sure. And then Evan Fournier, I think he is also questionable. So definitely have to keep an eye on the Knicks situation DFS-wise. I think we can, if all those guys are back, I think we can fade them unless they think they're just going to go back to playing Kimba like 40 minutes like he was before. I don't really have a good read on that. Luckily on this slate, I don't think we need to even worry about it. We can just fade it and move on.
All right. Yeah, it works for me. All right. So it sounds like I'll be alone here and back in the Knicks on -6 that the other 2 panelists. A little worried about laying that much points. And I can understand why in a total of 212, it is rough to lay points. I just think this is going to be a rough performance here from the Spurs. I think they're a team eager to get back home. Tyler, on the NFL show, right? You talked earlier a situation, 2 teams that you like to fade playing each other, right? And for you in the NFL, it was the Rams and Cardinals. For me here in the NBA, these are 2 that I really like to fade too, the Pacers and the Celtics. And they're facing off. It's 2 teams that I really like to fade. So you know how I looked at this? It said, well, I'm going to grab the points then, right? Because I don't think either of these teams are very good. I'm surprised to see Indiana catching 6.5. I mean, yes, Boston looked good against the Knicks. I don't know. I didn't really take away that much from the game. Then we look at Indiana. Brogdon's back to being questionable. Isaiah Jackson, questionable. No Karis LeVert. I was hoping that he would play, but he's not in there. Gogi Batase still out. I don't think he needs too much. Torrey Craig, questionable. And Justin Anderson. I mean, I guess if you're going to make a case for the Celtics, lane 6.5, their injury report is pretty clean. DFS darling Peyton Pritchard still out. But other than that, they got a clean injury report. Still, I don't know, 6.5. Do you think they should be laying this much, Tyler? Let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, the matchup, I think it's a good matchup for Boston with all the guys they have in and all the guys Indiana has out. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, they should have big games here. Tatum should also have a big game. They're not really going to have a wing out there that can guard them. I mean, they should just eat these guys up on the outside. Now, the bonus and Turner could have some inside domination on Horford and Robert Williams. But Williams should be able to hold his own against some guys, so not worried about him that much. So if I had to pick a side, give me Boston. But the play I like the most is Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. Okay. I could just see him putting up like a 30-piece here against this defense.
Yeah, I mean, they got those holiday guys out there, I guess, that I think are all right.
You got the couple smaller guards, too, that have been playing the last couple games. Brogdon sits again, too. I mean, he's just going to feast on these guys.
All right. AP, what are your thoughts on the Celtics and the Pacers?
Yeah, it really comes down to Brogdon for me. He's been questionable the last few days and then gets scratched, a little bit there before lock. So you have to think like maybe he's getting closer. But yeah, like this is a game I don't really want to play. I think we have better options. If you like the zigzag theory, I mentioned it in the playbook today. So Tatum went off two games ago. Brown went off last game. So, I mean, Tatum has to go off tonight, right? If you're a believer in that thing. That's what's with Boston. Like a rule that you personally make is like I'm never playing those 2 together. It's usually one or the other going off. So unless it's like a really short slate or something like that. I think if Brogdon's out and if you think this game stays close, you play Sabonis here. But again, if you're playing him, you're probably only able to play one of Giannis or Embiid. You definitely are only able to play one of Giannis or Embiid. So it's really going to be tough. And so I'll probably be under on this game. I like the Boston side here. If Brogdon's out, I could see myself betting that. Otherwise, it's kind of one of those scenarios where we just wait for the news.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Tyler, I don't have this one up, but it was 5.5 earlier. I'm talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was 5.5 earlier. I don't know why it's off Bookmaker. Maybe there's news that happened during the show that's adjusted.
FanDuel still has it 5.5 and the total's 220.
Okay, cool. So we'll go Cleveland Cavaliers -5.5 in Sacramento against the Woeful Kings. Hey, at least one of my teams is good, right? the Cavaliers, we were disappointed last night, Tyler, right? We thought they were going to keep it close there. And they actually made a push with about 4 minutes to go. They cut it to 10. I said, oh, there's a chance. Rondo was out there, and you guys had talked me into why that was a pretty good addition for the team. And I kind of saw it last night, right? Because I felt that the team was flustered, right? And I didn't handicap that well, that all the hype around Clay, like every time he made the shot, it felt like, they had won the world championship, the way that place erupted. And I felt the team, especially the young players, were having problems kind of dealing with that. I felt like Rondo kind of slowed them down and really helped them cut into that lead. Which is interesting because, to make a run, you have to play some good defense. And he really wasn't playing defense that well. But I felt like he got them into their sets properly on the offensive end and allowed them to kind of start scoring to chip into that lead. Now they're playing the Kings tonight. This wasn't a lot. I didn't do a lot of prep on this one because that line wasn't out when I was doing all my work yesterday. Also, it's my home team, my favorite team. Maybe I'm not seeing clearly either. Tyler, help me out here. How would you approach the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Sacramento Kings?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this game and looking at the injury report first, I see it. Raquan Holmes is out. Damian Jones out. Mo Harkless questionable all on the Sacramento side. Mm-hmm. So two of their big men are out. That could be a problem with how big Cleveland is with
Alex
Jared Allen.
Season.
Yeah, Mobley. I mean, they're just going to eat him up. Uh-huh. But on their side, they have Darius Garland questionable, so he might not play. But still, if he doesn't play, I still think they have the advantage on the inside with the big guys. Mm-hmm. I think they win the game and cover. Give me Cleveland and give me the over here. Because Sacramento ain't playing no defense. I can see Cleveland shooting like 60% tonight just because they're just going to feast right at the rim. Like those two big guys are going to score 20 plus each.
All right. What do you think about this game, AP?
I'm with them on the over. I think I'm on the over on all of the next games we'll talk about. Cool. I think we're trending back to overs. I'm about to hop back on. So, yeah, I like the over here. Darius Garland a report came out. He is expected to play unless – did they recorrect that? They might have recorrected, actually. I saw some basketball monster. I saw something, maybe it was a mistake. I saw something that came across that said is expected to play tonight, but now you're right. I'm looking at it. It says questionable. So with soreness. So yeah, I'm sure he's sore. These guys are playing a ton of basketball. I love that. Like overs, like the Kings aren't playing good defense. I mean, Mobley's just going to eat Bagley, our boy Bagley up inside, right? Spread. I mean, God, yeah. I'm looking at him in DFS formats, even Jared Allen. Like this slate on DraftKings specifically is interesting because we have Bobby Portis, we have Hassan Whiteside, we have Joel Embiid. You could make a case for Christian Wood. The Rockets are going to be without a few pieces tonight. Jared Allen. There's so many elite center plays, so it's going to be a really interesting spot. I think Allen's going to be one that goes overlooked, and man, he could absolutely crush in this matchup. So I like him in tournaments tonight, and also like Mobley, going to have a bunch of those guys, and then Rondo 3.3. They're already working him in more. I hope we don't really get any news on official news on Garland. Just so, before these first few games lock up, just since this is the last game, one of the last games on the slate, and just because I think if they said right now Garland wasn't going to play, Rondo's going to be 85, 90% owned. So, but as is, I think his ownership is going to be significantly less. I think he's going to get ownership tonight, but not the type of ownership that he would get if Garland was ruled out. Now, I'm off the Kings. I want to like Halliburton, but we need Fox out to play Fox. You need Halliburton out. Too many cooks in the kitchen on their side. I'm just going to be off of them.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that drafting 3-point guards, not having a shooting guard, only having one eligible forward, and having
what do you mean? You guys drafted one of the greatest Duke big men ever.
Unbelievable. I probably even have Jalen Johnson.
Oh man. Mobley's gonna eat him up. He's just gonna he's gonna destroy him tonight.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't wait to watch this game tonight. I'm gonna pull it up. I'll be thinking about spread. Mobley's just going to own him.
Don't worry, I'm expecting it. And I might join. I mean, the one thing about being a Kings fan and being in touch with them is I can fade them easily. And then also I feel like I have a pretty good feel on the nights in which they come up and they're going to be against all odds. And I don't think this is one of them, right? I just think I think they're in a tough spot. And of course, the injuries do have something to do with it. Rashawn Holmes means a lot to this team. As long as he's out, I think you can fade them fairly easily. I don't know why Bookmaker put these out of order, so my apologies for not going in chronological order here. 2 hours earlier, the 76ers will tip off in Houston. The Rockets are plus 10, a total of 226. I didn't really have a lot on this game, Tyler. I think the number's about right. And I think, if you want me to, I can make an argument for both teams, which means that I really have an argument for either team. Am I missing some value here? Because I kind of scratched this one off my list as far as games to bet. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that sort of side, I think you're right. I think that number is like dead on. I don't want to run the lay 10 with the 76ers. I'm also not running to take 10 with the Rockets.
Right.
But I think the over is a play here at 226.5. I think AP is going to be on it too, because I could just see the 76ers putting up 120 themselves. And then at that point, you just need the Rockets to get 107. I think they're good for 110 points here. So I think the over is definitely in play. But as for the side, I'm staying away from that.
All right. Well, it makes me feel a little better that I didn't cross off some obvious value. AP, what are your thoughts on the side and total? And then, of course, break down the DFS.
Yeah, I definitely like the overs here. So it's just like it's going to be a ton of points, a lot of easy buckets. 227, definitely not high enough for me. I think this one goes over 230. I'm not going to bet the side at all. I'd rather just, DFS wise, look, like I'm curious, Tyler, do you know like Joel Embiid triple double? Is there I'm not showing it on DraftKings. Like
here, I'll check FanDuel real quick.
Yeah, if you could do that, but like, 25-1. What if you just bet the parlay the all those stats individually?
You just want to do them just whatever they're set at, like over.
Yeah, whatever they're set at.
How do you see him getting to 10 assists though?
Because so Seth Curry's questionable. He was a midday downgrade. Okay. If Curry's out, their only point guard is going to be Korkmaz. Like he's going to be their reliable guy at point. And then Joel Embiid's going to just become like the offense already flows through him. He already had a triple-double in this spot beforehand. I thought we could have gotten a little bit better odds than that. But if you can get almost 40-1, I don't hate it here because he's definitely guaranteed a double-double. And man, he's shown 7 assists last game, 10 assists last time here against Houston because the ball he has to create more offense since they really don't have a point guard right now.
Okay, that's a good point.
It does make sense, and I built the same game parlay on FanDuel. If you take them over 30.5 points, over 10.5 rebounds, and to record 10 plus assists, it's 57-1.
Wow!
So that's way better than the triple double odds.
Yeah, all right. I like that. I gotta. How do you do that? I want to put.
Well, because you're doing the 30.5 points, whereas in the triple double odds,
that's what his number's set at, to where you could take that down to 25.5 or 20, wherever you want to set it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good look. So, go ahead, AB.
Yeah, and then so a few things like if Curry is out, I mean there's definitely some value in doing that, but you got to play Korkmaz here, you got to play Embiid. They just become absolute smash plays. And the slate, I forget who it was, but we're going to talk about that game here soon. But yeah, Nurkic, another center. So really, really fun slate. If the Rockets can hang here, I always like to run a few teams where I'm playing the opposing point guard against this Philly team. They're just not good against opposing backcourts. So Kevin Porter. I don't mind him here. I think he's going to go pretty low on. He's been so up and down. I mean, and I don't like the guy. He's throwing a tantrum, a few different times, running out on his team. Spread, I think me and you were laughing at that on Friday. And or you go Jalen Green, one of those guys, because I think Eric Gordon's out and maybe a few other guys are out too. Like I don't mind those guys. I feel just way more confident though on the Philly side with this game.
All right. So let's say, I'm down to it. Money's not an option. One spot left. Giannis or Embiid tonight, AP? Who do you think has a better night?
I'm gonna say
that's a tough question.
It's tough.
It really is tough. Like I would, man. I mean, it's like. So what you could do is you could say, if you said Embiid, I think you got to play Middleton. So, between the two, like I could see Embiid putting up a monster number. And if Giannis doesn't, I mean, he has gotten into some foul trouble. The problem with Giannis and what would make me nervous about fading him, he's gotten off to some really slow starts in these games. I'm pretty sure even against Charlotte, he got off to a slow start. I think chat was tilting in Discord. I think he had 20-something in the first half. And then he exploded in the second half. So I'm not really sure kind of what's going on with him. What do you have? He had, hold on, listen to this. He had, I think he had like 12 if I'm looking at that right. I mean, he was really struggling in that first half. And then he just went nuclear in the second half and then put up 35 or 36 DraftKings points alone in the fourth quarter. So if Giannis gets off to a hot start tonight, he's breaking the slate. That's all I'm saying.
We the People makes a good point too. He says Embiid may not see the fourth, and Giannis is more likely to be in a closer game. Should we factor in that in?
Yeah, you could. I think the Rockets are going to, stay within, striking distance here. Jason Tate's played good. Like I don't know. I mean, I'm not really that confident in it, but I think it will stay somewhat close. But we'll see.
All right, let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets, who are heading to Portland to take on the Trailblazers. Plus 10 for the Trailblazers at home. Total 226.5. It's on the road, so that means we should get some Kyrie Irving action tonight, right? I see on Basketball Monster Green next to the big three. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, all in. LaMarcus Aldridge still out. Joe Harris. That's going to be a great he's kind of been kind of unsung for how much this team misses him. I think that's going to be big for the Nets when they do get him back. Still, I think a couple more weeks for him to come back. On the other side, I don't see Damian Lillard on this list. I don't know if they just took him off. Maybe you guys can help me out with there. I do see Norm Powell, Larry Nance, who means so much to their defense, if you want to call it what they do on that end of the floor defense, and CJ McCollum still all out. So AP, is Damian Lillard back tonight?
I am not expecting him back. So like what they do sometimes. No. So what they do sometimes, hold on, I'm looking it up. Is he? Hold on, let me.
I don't see any props listed for him, so I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, he's out for 7 days. Sometimes they just, instead of listing these guys, if they're out for more than a week or more than like 4 or 5 games, they just won't list them on there. But
they
if you
go switch that back, let's get. So some of us were busy watching football yesterday. Okay, we're trying to get back in the NBA.
In the chat, they're saying he's out for at least 8 games, and they said he's not on the road trip, so that's probably why they took him off.
Well,
okay. Well, they're at home tonight, but yeah. All right, cool. So no Damian Lillard, no Larry Nance, no CJ McCollum. Anthony Simon's season is what I was trying to say. That's actually a tongue twister. I'll have to work on that. That'll be good for my warm-ups before we start the show. How are you approaching this game, AP? This is one of the games that I didn't cap because the line wasn't out yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, we get Kyrie, we get with the big three. I don't understand this at all. And they were talking about it on NBA radio this morning. But the Nets, they got a tough stretch here coming up. And they got why are you playing these guys on a back-to-back? Send Kyrie out there with a bunch of scrubs and have him beat the guy made such a good argument this morning. Send Kyrie out to Portland with a bunch of scrubs to play this other team that's down to a bunch of scrub players.
Yeah.
Make Kyrie carry the weight. And then it would have been a really fun DFS slate. But no, Harden, Irving, KD's going to play. KD played like 40-some minutes yesterday, 43 minutes against the Spurs. I mean, man, I don't know what's going on there. But I love the over here, I'll tell you that. I mean, this game, the pace was excellent with Kyrie against Indy. And they couldn't do anything defensively against the likes of Kiefer Sykes, Dwayne Washington, these dudes that are just, probably not going to be in the league for too much longer after their 10-day contracts.
I think Sykes got re-signed. He's going to be there.
Did he get signed? That's cool. He's been playing good. I've been wondering what they're going to do with some of these contracts. Some of these guys definitely deserve to to finish out the year if they can, or at least sometime. But yeah, this game's going to be really nice DFS wise. I love the over here. I think this game smashes the over. I think Nurkic has a monster night. This is why center is so tough. Like Nurkic, honestly, if he gets another 38 minutes here against this matchup, he's going to have another 50 plus DK points. Like I'm serious. I mean, man, like Giannis dominated this Nets team. They cannot handle bigs, down low at all. They're just struggling against them. I think it's a fantastic spot for Nurkic. Sure, it's a back-to-back for them also, but they have no dudes. Like Nurkic has to go out there and at least try. If he's tired, I could see like fouls becoming an issue, but it's not like he's had like a really like hard year where he's been forced into situations where he's had to play big minutes. So I like him in this spot. Simons, he's taking his game to another level. And now, with him, like he's proven it, like he's proven himself against Sacramento and had an okay game against Cleveland. And then Miami and Atlanta, who were both down a bunch of guys. Now he gets the big three from the Nets coming in. I think he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder in a tough matchup like this. But defensively, I think it's going to be just fine for him and his game. Nasir Little is another guy I'm looking at. Really nice spot here all around. In DFS formats, I don't have any interest, though, in the Nets side because Kyrie, Harden, KD, they all just take from each other. And they're all priced up. So that side's an easy fade. Tons of interest, though, on the Blazers side.
Interesting. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it. You looking at it, Portland might have a bit of an advantage here with the bigs, like AP said.
Yeah,
Claxton's starting to learn how to rebound, though, spread. Remember, we tried to bet his rebounds before, and he didn't get us that double-double. And then last game, he did get that double-double. So he's playing good. I'm looking at the win margin you could bet in this game. You could do Brooklyn Nets 1-10 plus 170, or you could do them 11 plus 105 when the line's 9.5. I think they're going to blow them out with the three guys on the floor because I don't see Portland having anything to guard these guys. So give me them to win by 11 plus at plus 105.
All right. I like that one as well. I thought this was a fun question from Giraffe. Sports and History Podcast. Who do you think is the most likely upset in the NBA tonight? AP, we'll start with you on that one.
I like that. I mean, I can't take this one. It was your guys' call, but I'm going to go with the Pistons. Wow. I like that bet tonight.
Tyler, who do you think is the most likely, like, straight up upset of all the dogs?
It's close between Pistons, and I'd say it wouldn't surprise me if Portland does catch Brooklyn trying to build some momentum.
What if we parlay that? Like, what is that going to, like, take the money, the Pistons money line? We're getting crazy on the show, but it's a Monday. I kind of like it. What if we're betting a Joel Embiid triple-double and then a Blazers money line, Pistons money line, double upset? Those are things that usually I do on Sundays.
Out of business.
Fred, what numbers do you have on that? Because my numbers are worse than yours. I have 26-1 on that.
On what? On which
26-1.
Blazers Pistons money line parlay.
All right, let me put this up. Plus 425. Oh, Pistons are down to plus 528. Let me see. Parlay. Plus 31.97.
Yeah, so you have 32-1.
Yeah. All right. AP, let's go back to the DFS real quick. Richie Smalls wants to know, is 3 or 4 Blazers too many?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want 4. I think even 3. It's really going to depend because how many bucks are you going to have? Like, I want Giannis. I want Bobby Portis for sure. Then you can make a case for Nwora. But then we also want potentially Cork, Maz, and Embiid if we can get there. And I don't think we can get all those guys. So it's really going to depend because I would like to get Nurkic or Nasir Little or Simons. When I ran a few builds, it's really tough to get Simons if you're wanting to play Giannis and Embiid. So roster construction is going to be really interesting tonight. It's going to be fun playing tournaments. Like, you can make some arguments for, like, man, if you went Jared Allen and Yusuf Nurkic, like fading some of these really strong center plays that are going to get ownership, like Whiteside, Portis, and Embiid. I mean, you're going to have a very unique lineup that has a ton of upside too. So it's a like, I'm not saying I'm going that route. It's just an example. Two guys that get absolutely smashed. So it's going to be a fun night for tournaments. I think it's going to be very easy to get different, but still have a high upside lineup. It's just going to be hard to like press the button to do that because there's these other plays that are just in such good spots. So it's projecting to be a fun night.
We got news that might affect the slate. Oubre's out, health and safety protocols now. So that makes me like the Milwaukee side a bit more. Takes a guy out.
I felt that he did a really good job playing defense in that game last time.
That's funny because, like, I mean, not funny, but so COVID, they were one of the first teams to go through COVID. And do you remember it was Kelly Oubre carrying this team? And it was crazy that because they had everyone out, like their whole team was out. And it was Kelly Oubre, Cody Martin, I think PJ Washington were like carrying this team. And now it's funny that he finally gets it. So, with him out, it brings a run back into play a little bit more as well. So
with that news, We the Peoples wants the Rozier PRA. I'll start with you, Tyler, and then maybe talk AP about how the news affects Terry Rozier. What do you think, Tyler? Start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that play. It makes me love the LaMelo play even more, though, because those 26 minutes now definitely have to turn into like 33 to 35 with him out. Okay. So give me all.
He's going to smash. I might go broke playing. This is a fun slate as is. Like there are so many routes you can go, and people are going to get locked in. Like, and why I like slates like this is just what you said, Tyler. People are going to overlook these run backs. Like LaMelo's 9,300 on DraftKings. He's not catching a ton of upside or kind of ownership. He could easily put up like 60 plus here. He could put up a monster triple double. Pair that with Giannis and Portis, and you could just get a monster start off to the slate. So it's definitely projecting to be really interesting.
Yeah, I'll be definitely interested to see how everybody approaches it over on runpuresports.com. If you're not already a member, make sure you are. You will see all the cores, AP's heat map, and of course, you'll have access to the final countdown where they'll be doing the same thing that we're doing now, getting the news, except they'll be doing it right up to lock when the starting lineups are announced. If you're not already a member, become a member and use the promo code GETBETS, and you'll get access to the bet side as well. So with that being said, it is time for the best bets. Tyler, let's start with you. What's your best bet today, side total or prop?
My best bet's going to be the over in that Indiana-Boston game. I just see Indiana's 1, 2, and 3 positions just not putting up much defense. Brown and Tatum having big games. If Marcus Smart catches fire from behind the 3, I mean, this 212 is going to be way too short, so give me the over.
Yeah, I can imagine not a lot of defense there. AP, what's your best bet today, side total or prop?
I'm gonna say the Nets Blazers over. Get Kyrie out there, and it's an over slate. There's gonna be lots of games going over tonight.
All right, I'm jumping in with you guys there. I'm probably gonna take Milwaukee. I like the bounce back spot here. I think this is a great spot for the Bucks to bounce back, and maybe a little bit undervalued, because of the fact that Charlotte did win the other night. Of course, with Oubre out, I think his defense means a lot. I don't think that will properly be calculated in because I'll tell you what, bookmaker didn't even budge with that news. Oh wait, no, it moved to 3.
I was about to say my line's still locked on FanDuel.
Okay. For 1 point, actually, so I think that's right. Kelly Oubre is worth 1 point. Draft says this Hornets offense has been very good, and Oubre's just been rolled out. So yes, there we go. Richie Smalls always reminding me. Thank you, Richie, for helping me out here. He always says, hit the like, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. AP, thank you very much for joining us here on short notice here on a Monday. You'll be back on Friday, but until then, what great content does Run Pure Sports have coming up on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so we got a bunch of showdown content for the college championship game tonight. Our guy Bruce and Big T are managing that. NBA slate. So we got the show coming up here soon. Really fun slate. So make sure you watch that show, watch the Up the Lock show. Core plays and everything are a full go. And then, our new partnership with SaberSim. we're able to put our core plays into the site there, directly onto SaberSim, our player pools as well. So it's been fun doing that. We had a good day in the NFL streets yesterday using that. So I know a bunch of us had player pools in there. So yeah, if you're a member and a Saber member, make sure to check that out.
All right, Tyler, any more words of wisdom for the people before we
I got a
sign off?
bonus question for AP. Before the NFL playoff starts, I already know who you're picking out of the AFC. It's your boys. Who are they playing coming out of the NFC?
Gosh, who? I was thinking. So I want to see a matchup against Green Bay. I want to see Chiefs Green Bay. I just think that would be like, I don't want to see the 49ers. We know what that game is. Tampa Bay. They're not gonna. My bad, Tyler. Is that your team? No, it's just it's. I think, that would be Rodgers against Mahomes. The State Farm Bowl is what they'd call it. So, that would be my pick.
All right, there we have it. We will be back tomorrow with more NBA content. We'll be at 3:30 Eastern. Just a quick reminder, now that there's no more Thursday night football for JSU show, and I know that a lot of people enjoy listening to that one because we go all over the place. I mean, I think we did 90-something minutes on a 4-game slate on Thursday, right? Because we just break down all the games. That one's back to 12:30 now because he no longer has the commitment to do the NFL showdown content as Thursday night football is over. So it's from now on 3:30 Eastern for the rest of the week. And then Tyler and I, of course, will be breaking down the NFL playoffs on Friday. And if you're subscribed to the channel, you're getting all of JJ's free picks too. If you haven't seen it, he has free picks for tonight's college football game. Hope you guys are all doing that. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, and run